educator here at Twilio, and welcome to Level Up Next. Hello, everybody. We are so excited to dive into upcoming events in our educational live series with you in this next few minutes. Level Ups are here to help you power up how you build with Twilio. So we dive into product features and concepts and talk about best practices and gotchas for integrating new technology into your Twilio apps. And what you're watching right now is Level Up Next. We're going to talk to one of our presenters, get a little sneak peek of what's coming next week, which is Level Up with Generative AI, elevate your communication channels. So mark your calendars for January 17th. That's next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And you can register for that event. The link is in the description of the stream, and we will also drop it in the chat. So be sure to register so you can learn how to work AI communications into your communications channels with Twilio. And again, the link is in the description of the stream. So make sure to register, put on your calendars next Wednesday. And think of what you're currently tuned into, like I said, as kind of a sneak peek. It's designed to pique your interest, a little taste, you might say. It's called Level Up Next. It's a portmanteau, get it? It's a glimpse of what's in store for next week, and we get the exciting opportunity to talk to one of our presenters, Alex Goldman, who's a developer evangelist on the team, who you might have seen in his work supporting our startups program. Hey, Alex, welcome.
Hi, Emily. It's a pleasure to be here.
Very happy to talk to you today. A happy New Year, I guess. This is, I think, our first stream of the new year. Very exciting. Yeah. And I think you just got back from an exciting American football game. Is that right?
Yes, a college football game. My alma mater was playing in the national championship, which was very exciting. I was very lucky to get to go. Unfortunately, my flight, instead of arriving 5 hours before the game was supposed to start, I landed in Houston at halftime, but still got there in time to see the final quarter and see my team, the University of Michigan, win the college football national championship. So that was pretty exciting. I got what I could, and yeah, still
very
cruising
exciting.
Off that high from that.
Oh, I bet. I can't imagine being there in person for even half the game. That really sucks, though. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm glad you got the opportunity to go. That's fun. And I'm excited to have you here because, as you know, hopefully next week you're going to be on with me, and I know you know. We're going to be talking about generative AI and working with that and communications channels. But I'm curious, what have you been building with AI these days? Anything interesting or kind of fun going on?
Yeah, I've kind of just been playing with it in a few different ways. A lot of it's around how I write code. It's a lot easier if you have something to start with. And then also there's all these tools now where you can add context to the AI. So I know there's GitHub Copilot, which I use a little bit. There's another one called Continue, where you can in VS Code, you can throw in a file and do something like, hey, I'm using this one API. What would it be like if I use this other API instead? And it'll write it for you. So that stuff's pretty cool. And yeah, I've just been using it to make coding a little bit easier. And then I'm also starting to play with some of the image generators, trying to make my presentations a little bit more dynamic and interesting. But we'll see how that goes, because I'm a little worried that if everyone starts doing that, it's going to be a little bit just too much weird imagery everywhere. So I'm going to try to maintain it at a classy level.
Nice. I think that's a good way to start the project. I do feel like I see now images, and I'm sort of like, some of them I'm kind of like, oh, I think that's AI generated. There's a little je ne sais quoi. I feel like you can kind of tell when.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to avoid
cool.
fingers and teeth so that
yeah,
there's not too big of an issue.
I think that's a good idea. And the coding assistant stuff is awesome. I just started using Copilot pretty late to the game, I'd say. But it's like wild. It's wacky. Amazing. All right, moving along. I have a few more questions for you, Alex.
I hate having to go look up examples of how things. Oh, sorry. I think we got cut off.
Okay,
yeah, I hate having to go look up examples of how to write things. So I like that the AI can kind of help me get there. So yeah, we can keep cruising.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. No, no worries. I think we had a little lag there. No, I think yeah. To that point, actually, briefly, it's interesting because I feel like so much of software engineering or coding is Googling, and I think we've all experienced that. Like, go look it up on Stack Overflow. But it's interesting when you take that kind of step out of the equation. It's like, well, I can just ask the question right there, have that available. So very exciting. I'm glad to hear you're taking advantage of those tools. Thinking about your work at Twilio and kind of your Twilio life, you're involved with our Twilio Startups program. I'm curious how you kind of got interested in startups originally and how you got into the space.
Yeah, I've kind of always worked for or worked on my own startups. In fact, Twilio is the largest place I've worked as far as employee count by roughly 100x. So I started. My first job was at a startup. That grew pretty fast. And then I tried a few of my own. That's actually where I learned to code, was working on my own startups. So it's just kind of been in me from the get-go. I've always kind of had that curiosity for entrepreneurship, try to solve hard problems. I love the dynamic nature of when you're working on a startup, you have to be something different every hour, sometimes every minute, going from doing marketing stuff to doing coding to going and selling to doing the back end business in the book. So there's so many different things. And I kind of loved that dynamic nature of the whole thing. So yeah, I've just kind of always been in startups. And now I get the joy of helping other people in startups, which is a lot of fun for me too.
That's very cool. It's yeah, it's really it's always really gratifying to be able to take something that you've experienced and learned and share it with others. So I'm glad, and you are an excellent teacher and educator and supporter in that way. So if you get a chance, audience, check out Alex and in that part of his work. We did recently also run a pretty cool program. Unfortunately, it's the applications are closed. It's finished, but keep your eyes out for future things like this. We ran something called the AI Startup Searchlight, which was looking for startups that are doing really cool things with Twilio and AI, because we think there's a lot of potential there. I'm curious, Alex, did you maybe in the course of that or elsewhere come across any startups doing kind of interesting things with Twilio and AI?
Oh, there were some amazing applications. And while we have the results, I won't share those yet. Um, but it was so amazing to see the different ways that people are using AI. And the thing that I thought was really interesting is the companies that we got really excited about, the ones that were using Twilio and Communications plus AI. They weren't making new models. They weren't, building that underlying tech of AI. They were finding ways to apply it in just super unique ways. It was either into industries where it was a huge multiplier on what could be done, or it was places that wouldn't traditionally have that kind of technology built into it. So it was super cool. I think I would, I don't know where I go with this one, but what I would say is, like, anyone who's like thinking about startups and AI, just I think finding the places where it really is a force multiplier and can really add to the experience for users and for customers, and the whole value chain is really cool. And I think almost every single one of our kind of like high applicants, the ones that were finalists or close to it, used AI with personalization. So they made things really unique to each individual person that they were communicating with. And that's just a huge underlying theme of where I think this kind of AI startup boom is gonna really materialize.
Yeah, that's really interesting and cool to hear. We'll keep our eyes out for results, which are coming later this month, I think. And I think it's also a cool place where Twilio gets to be kind of that layer in a really exciting tech stack where we're kind of unlocking an interface for companies to allow them to use AI and sort of spread those communications more broadly. And I think that's pretty exciting. That personalization piece we're also going to talk about a little bit next week. So make sure to register. Again, link is in the stream description so you can hear more about that.
Yeah. And I mean, if you go down to it, like, it's all APIs, right? You're using an API to call an AI model. You're using an API to communicate with your customer. You're probably using an API to grab the data out of the back end, whether it's a CDP like Segment or something else. And so just chaining all these APIs together, it makes development really fun and kind of a little easier, because you don't have to worry about a lot of the big things. You can kind of figure out how you're actually going to build in your product, and you don't have to worry as much about, actually sending a text message or building a model. So I think with all the APIs out there, it makes this a lot more fun to build and a lot quicker.
For sure. I 100% agree. And I think that when I was learning to code and kind of learning to build software, I think there was such an exciting moment when you realize, oh, I have this nice box that I have I don't know what the right metaphor is, but like I have an interface that I can use all the tools in this box through, and I don't have to understand what's in the box, but I can make use of this, of the value of the stuff in there. And I'm excited to see kind of APIs, and of course APIs are Twilio's bread and butter, coming back and becoming so important in the AI stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, you're working on a lot of really cool startup initiatives. What else are you working on these days that kind of gets you excited to get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, honestly, stuff like this. I love building. I love writing code. I like making little demos and kind of building prototypes and things like that. I also like making videos and teaching people and explaining things and streaming. So definitely look for me to do some streaming with a few other Twilions, create some new content out there, videos, try to inspire different startups to just create amazing customer experiences. And then, I love that I get to, play with AI on a regular basis and build fun things like you will see next week. I built a little fun app for the level up next week, and doing stuff like that is just so much fun. So that's what really gets me excited.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited to see more about what you built next week. And we will have not only Alex, which we're already very lucky to have Alex next week, but we will also have one more Twilion. Sam Agnew will be joining us as well next week to dive into some email, in an email application, and sort of working AI comms into your email communications with SendGrid. So if you want to learn more about Sam, in the meantime, he did a Level Up Next, one of these kind of previews back in last August, and you can find the recording of that in the Twilio Devs YouTube channel. Also highly recommend you subscribe over there. We put out a lot of fun content on that channel. In terms of next week, January 17th, next Wednesday, for our Level Up with Generative AI. Again, a reminder, if I haven't said it once, I've said it twice, I'm saying it 3 times. The link to register is in the description of the stream. So make sure to register so you can join us. But Alex, can you tell us a little bit about kind of a little more specifically what we'll be diving into and kind of how we'll be talking about that?
Yeah. So the whole point of this is to really look at Twilio plus AI. What are the intersections? And the obvious place is communications. That's what we do. How can you use AI to enhance your communication with your customers, be it email, SMS, voice, all the different ways that you talk to them? And we love APIs. And luckily, there's a lot of AI APIs out there that makes it really easy to connect with them and see how to integrate them. So what we're going to do is we have 2 really neat apps that we built. I built one using voice, and then Sam and Emily built one using email. And we're going to show you how you can integrate some of the AI APIs into your work stream or your chain of communicating with your customer. And then we're also just going to talk about some general stuff with AI, right? Why it's important to choose the right channel when you're using AI to talk to people, or really anything to talk to people. When AI makes sense, when it doesn't, some of the gotchas, what to think about, how to write great prompts. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff. So if you're curious about just getting started and using AI with communication of any sort, this is just going to be a great place to start, and really excited to share this all with you.
I am too. I'm super excited about that. It's also a great place to dive in and ask questions, and that helps us understand what you want to learn more about in the future so that we can tailor this content to the stuff that's interesting to you and most relevant to your work, and kind of the things that are going to be most valuable. So again, register with us. Link is in the description of the stream. If you want to catch up on other level ups, this is an ongoing live educational series we run to, again, help you kind of power up how you build with Twilio. You can check out twill.io/levelups. And there you'll find a ton of great content about how to use Twilio in specific use cases in specific ways. But there is a level up with email and a level up with voice that'll kind of maybe help give you a primer if you're brand new, or if you want to learn some more specifics about that before we dive into it and work AI into the mix as well. I think that kind of wraps up all the things we wanted to talk about today. I can't wait to see you all next Wednesday. Alex, I can't wait to hang out with you and talk and write some code. I think that's it from my end. Anything last from you, Alex?
No, I'm super excited to see everybody in our level up next week.
See you next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.